Annual community surveys indicate that the number of families living in poverty in Beaufort County has increased over the past several years. And close to 50% of the children on Hilton Head Island at public elementary schools are eligible for free or subsidized meals at school. Fortunately, there's an organization that's making sure that when these children go home for the weekend, they won't go hungry. Joining me now to talk about this organization, which is Backpack Buddies, is its chairman, Janet Weingarten. Janet, thanks so much for coming in.
Well, I'm delighted to be here, Allie, and to be able to talk about this terrific program that's feeding children.
Now, I know Backpack Buddies, Janet, is part of the Hunger and Homeless Coalition, of which you are a board member of that organization as well, but tell me how it works.
The Hunger and Homeless Coalition, first of all, has several missions. One is childhood hunger. The other is to find homes for families, including children, that on this very island are homeless. There was a group of people when this started in 2010 that really wanted to devote themselves to being able to feed children. And we found out about what is really a very simple method, that we can send food home with children on the weekends. We fill backpacks for them, and they have enough food to get them through the weekend and to come to school kind of bright-eyed and bushy-tailed rather than putting their heads down on their desks because they're so hungry.
You know, I think sometimes, Janet, those of us that may live in gated communities or in nice neighborhoods may not realize that we do indeed have children that without Backpack Buddies might not be getting those meals over the weekend.
Absolutely. I certainly never realized that children on our paradise here did not have enough food to eat. And when I first heard the statistics, actually, Allie, at that time it was 47%. And now it is at 50% and creeping higher every year. We all read the newspapers. We know that this is a problem that is across the country. And so we really, Backpack Buddies, really wanted to find a solution for this. Group of people came together. It is an interfaith effort, which is terrific. We get to know people that we wouldn't normally maybe come in contact with. We did research, and we found that the Low Country Food Bank that works out of Charleston already had a model for Backpack Buddies, and that the organization was feeding children in the northern part of the state, but they hadn't been able to make contact with anyone in Beaufort County. And so it was a great marriage of the minds. We signed a contract with the Low Country Food Bank. They have a storage facility in Yemassee, and we are able to purchase food for these children for approximately $150 per child per school year. We're able to feed the children for 42 weeks of the year.
That is really reasonable, Janet. And when you mentioned the whole interfaith aspect of this, the food that you get from the food bank, is it not stored until it goes into those backpacks at the various churches or places of worship on the island?
Well, first of all, when we pick up the food in Yemassee, and we have volunteer drivers that do that once a month, because of the number of children that we're feeding this year, we went from 50 children to 120 children. We have 2 sets of drivers that drive up to Yemassee. They pick up nutritionally sound, and this is very important, shelf-stable food. They pick up a month's worth of food. And then the food is driven back to 2 churches, St. Francis by the Sea on the north end and St. Andrew's Methodist Church on the south end. And these 2 churches have stepped up to store our food for us, and also to provide a place for our volunteers to pack the food once a month.
Now, I know that the food is put into plastic bags, which are then put into backpacks, from what you told me, that are not identifiable with some big Backpack Buddy logo on it, but backpacks like any child would have, so there's no stigma associated with kids that are being helped by the program. But how do you identify them, Janet? How do you know who's in need?
That's very important, and of course we know that the number of children in need is very great, but like any other organization, we have to start somewhere. And who we are supporting are children that are on free and subsidized meals. And as you mentioned, in the 3 elementary schools in Hilton Head, there's approximately 50% of the children that do qualify for these programs. We're lucky enough in Hilton Head to have social workers in each of the elementary schools. And these social workers become very familiar with these children and with their families. And what they do, they basically cull the list of children that are on the state and federal programs and look for who are the most needy of these children. And then what they do is they work with the parents, they send home permission slips to ask them if their child could participate in their program. They send home medical forms to make sure that there are no allergies. The forms are in English and Spanish, so we make sure that we get as much of the population as possible.
It sounds really like it's so well coordinated, Janet Weingarten. We're already out of time, but we've put up several times the information where people can contact Backpack Buddies if they would like to help out, either to volunteer or financially. And we want to thank you and all the work that you're doing here on Hilton Head Island. As a matter of fact, Bluffton has just started Backpack Buddies, and I'm sure part of it is due to watching the success of your program here. Thank you so much.
And thank you so much, Allie, for letting me be here.